Welcome to The Young Man with Reams. We share the journey of a young man and the simple story. Welcome aboard.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're listening to us today. Of course, welcome to The Young Man. My name is Renz, your favorite host. Yeah, I consider myself your favorite host. And now, we bring you good tidings every Friday. Fantastic guests coming to share their story, and today is no different. I have an Egbon here, but he doesn't consider himself as an Egbon. So, his name is Ogbugo Kalu Emeh. Now, this man is a veteran. The name of the show is called The Young Man, but I really don't consider him a young man. He's someone that when we are done doing what we are doing here in The Young Man, we take it to him to vet and for his blessings.
Oh my God, yes, you're kidding me.
All right, so a quick background of him. He schooled in the University of Calabar in the medical school. He's a doctor, by the way. He has his residency in Roger MJMS, Internal Medicine and Pediatrics. Mountain View Hospital, Internal Medicine. Worked as a PCP, hospitalist at University Medical Center of South Nevada, Las Vegas. Currently a fellow in philology at Temple University, Philadelphia. Now, an amazing mission he has. His mission is to educate people of color and the Nigerian community about chronic kidney diseases and how to prevent it. Extracurricular activity, I think he likes cooking and taking his children to the beach. He loves making movies. Now you can call him electric doctor. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know how we do. Can we just give him the young man welcome? Doctor, please, you're welcome to The Young Man.
Thank you, Rins. Thanks for having me here. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, I really also want to say a very big thank you because for me, I consider this a very big honor. And we have not seen face to face, but for some reason, we converse as if we had like 10 years experience of friendship. Thank you.
That's absolutely. That's the black magic. We see each other and we connect mentally.
Exactly. Yeah. So why is your okay? Before I ask you why kidney, I wanted to ask people listening will be like, you have a lot of experience in the medical field, and before you start talking about that, how did you even get to the US?
I would say before I jump to how I got to the US, I would say my life is what you consider, what just happens, when you're planning other things, Even though I had actually dreamt of living in the US, I did not, it felt on my lap on a platter of gold.
Oh, wow.
And it came at the right time. And, I moved here in 2008 after I had done a few conferences here in the States after my medical school. And as God will have it, I met my beautiful wife here in the States in San Francisco. And we just kind of hit it off at that time. And then, moving to US was not even on my radar at the time. But, when love strikes, you don't know where it takes you to. So it took me to San Francisco, and that's where I ended up starting my life in the States.
Here in San Francisco, like if someone in Nigeria, listening will be like, oh, I think it's a love town. It should happen. It's expected.
Yep.
So, so how has the journey been for you? And of course, your focus has been, like you said in your bio, it is stated in your bio that you want to, show people of color the implication of kidney diseases and all that. Are we susceptible to such diseases? And is that the reason why you're like, you want to enlighten people about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, when I finished medical school, did my housemanship in Nigeria, did youth service and all that stuff. I had a little bit of an interest in kidney failure when I was doing my internship at Federal Medical Center in Umuahia.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that dream it was very short-lived until I moved down to the States, did my residency. Of course, my journey as a doctor in the States has been so rocky. It's been like a roller coaster
Yeah,
filled
we'll
with
get
ups
into
and
that.
downs. We'll get to that point. But the
Yeah.
reason I decided to become a nephrologist was I had my aha moment in 2019 when I went to Nigeria, and a brother-in-law of mine was suffering from liver failure and needed kidney transplant. And, talking to a few people, I realized, oh my God, there are a lot of people with kidney failure here,
Hmm.
and I'm like, how can I help? What can I do? And dialysis, like I said, my brother-in-law was paying an arm and a leg to get dialysis once
Yeah.
a month, once a
Wow.
month. And this is what you should get at least 4 times a week.
Hmm.
So I'm like, how do I give back to people? Because I was already finished my residency. I was already working as a primary care provider and a hospitalist here. I'm like, the only way I can give back to people is to go back and do a training in nephrology. So I left everything I was doing. When I came back to the States, of course, we were hit by pandemic in 2020 and 2021. It was those 2 horrible years. And then I decided to apply to, specialize in this field. Hence why I moved from, my last place, which was Las Vegas, to Philadelphia to start this training in nephrology that I will be done next year.
Wow. So in hearing your story, people were like, how did you even like how was the journey for you starting up before the interest in nephrology and then of course your journey in the US? How did you start? And you talked about the conferences you had and you talked about meeting your wife, in between those times, medical school was there. How was it for you at the beginning stage and how was it?
Yeah, so I did my medical school at University of Calabar,
Mhm.
the prestigious University of Calabar,
Oh
and I would
yeah,
say
you have to put that there.
yeah, it is prestigious.
Hmm.
We are called the Malabites. We are called the Malabites.
Okay.
So I actually went to school to study chemistry. So I did chemistry for 1 year. And, when you're a science student, we have a lot of shared courses with,
Yeah.
other scientists,
It will,
So,
it will interest you to know that I studied industrial chemistry.
oh, you see, okay, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we had a lot of shared courses with people in med school. And
Mhm.
then there was this superiority that people in med school had,
Oh
they
yeah.
exuded. When they come in, they're like, I'm like, who the heck are these people? In fact, I'm going to be a doctor. So I started to try to get into med school and I succeeded after 2 years of chemistry. So I got into med school and it was very rocky.
Hmm.
So I burnt the candles, I did my studying, I came out successfully as, Nigerian trained doctor from University of Calabar before proceeding to do my housemanship youth service and all that and moving down to the States. So it has been a heck of a journey since 1999, up until now, I'm still going.
Hmm. So US experience, do you feel it's different? When you came,
Oh,
first of all, when you came to
definitely.
the US, do you have to like study all over from the beginning, or are there courses you have to do? How is the terrain for you when
So
you?
the terrain, back in the day, it was strenuous, but at the same time, you have to put in the effort. So when you move down to the States and start your journey as a foreign trained doctor, you
Yeah.
have to go through a lot of exams. So that is what we call USMLE. USMLE is basically known as United States Medical Licensing Examination, which is an exam that um, foreign trained doctors do take. It comes in 3 parts. They
Oh
have
wow.
step one, step two, which is divided into step two clinical skills and step two clinical knowledge. And these are the prerequisites you need to be able to be eligible to get into a residency program here. So we have to go through those, and it was not an easy journey for me because I'm most sorry to tell you that the training in Nigeria is actually different because there's so many gaps that you have to self-learn and relearn everything by yourself.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
if you have money to go to a training course, at the time I couldn't afford it. I had to sit my butt down and study. So you have to do those tests, and then of course, I failed a few of them. And what do? You pick up yourself and continue trying.
Yeah.
And I would say I was also very lucky because if you fail those exams, your chances of getting in is a little bit slim. But
Wow.
I always keep my eye on the target, and I always pray to God, and pray that God meets me at the point of my need, and also where I have favor before people. So that has been the journey to get into residency. And let me tell you this. I
Yeah.
I was actually fired from after struggling to get into a residency. I did 2 years of that program, and then I failed an exam again, and they kicked me out of the program.
Wow.
So yes, after 2 years of medpay. So
Wow.
what do you do at that point? You pick yourself up, and then you keep pushing.
Yeah.
So the point is that never give up on your dream and just keep your eye on the goal. So it's been a heck of a journey, but I'm still
Mm.
standing, I'm still moving, I'm still learning, I'm still doing good by
How did you get back to the board?
so after I was fired from my program in New Jersey, Rutgers, New Jersey, of course it was a trying time for 2 months or thereabout. I finally passed that test. And at that point, they could not let me back in the program. So I had to start applying again, to start the process all over again. And that was how I finally got a spot again in Las Vegas and moved from New Jersey to Las Vegas.
So if someone is kicked out of the program, I just want to actually understand the financial implication, right? Of course, you're not working, you're not earning.
Right.
Why? How were you surviving?
Oh my God. It's when you say if Niger no they carry last, and
Yeah,
an Igbo man will always find a way to make things happen. So
true.
every time I always leverage what I have, which is number one, the way I present myself, and number two, how I speak. So
Okay.
I leveraged my knowledge that I had acquired from 2 years of training. And, at the end, at that point, I had to do all sorts. I started doing I had to come down again to medical assisting level,
Oh,
because I have to feed my family. I have to do
mhm.
all sorts at that particular point.
At
And
that
this is,
point, sorry to butt in. At that point, what was the capacity of your family? Do you have kids at that time?
yeah, I have 3 kids.
Oh, already. Wow.
Yes. I
Wow.
had 3 kids at that point. My wife had just, left her job to focus on the kids when they, kicked me out of that program. So you can imagine what situation was at home. But,
Mm.
I have a very supportive wife who is very, um, very industrious. So we both know how to hustle here. And while I was doing all sorts at that point to make a living, I was also studying to pass that exam, which I failed that made them to kick me out.
Oh my God. This is so inspiring. Like, so, going forward, so your journey you talked about doing a course that you have to like specialize, and that's another set of educational toiling, if I should use that word.
Yes.
So at what point did you realize, like in your practice, did you realize, you know what, I have to go and do this course for 2 years? And at what point did you realize that, you know what, I just need to take this a notch higher?
Yeah. So when I finished my residency in 2018,
Mm,
so there are two tracks. By the way, what I did in residency was internal medicine. Basically, is a kind of medicine where you practice how to use medicines to take care of patients.
okay.
So, by virtue of that training, there are several tracks that one could take. Either you be a cardiologist or nephrologist or endocrinologist or gastroenterologist or nephrologist. So, but in general internal medicine gives you exposure to all these specialties.
Okay.
So when I finished my residency in 2018, I decided to work as a general practitioner, basically taking care of people in the clinic and in the hospital setting. But like
Mm-hmm.
I said earlier during the introduction, I went to Nigeria in 2019 before the
Okay.
COVID pandemic. And then I saw my brother-in-law was almost at the point of death from kidney failure. And not only him, I went to where I had trained my internship at Federal Medical Center, and I saw the litany of, patients with kidney failure. I'm like, okay, that was like an epiphany moment for me, so that when I came back to the States after the pandemic, I decided to apply for that further training in nephrology.
Yeah. So as a medical doctor, while doing this training, do you earn or just is pure studies?
So you earn a stipend, which is a shadow of what I was making when I finished residency. So just imagine you're making, let's say, $1,000, and then you go back to training and you start making $50. So that is a huge financial impact on my family and everything. But there's always saying anything worth doing is worth doing. Where I look at the big picture and the help I will, give back to my people, and I think it's all worth it.
So going forward, what is the? I mean, of course, you will specialize, if I'm right.
Yes.
And specialists, do they earn more? I don't know. I'm just asking. Do they earn better and more?
It all depends. So I'm specializing in kidney diseases, which is known as nephrologist. It all depends on what you want to make out of your life. If you want to work for money, you're going to be a slave for the rest of your life. If you want to have a good work-life balance where you're making decent income, it's up to you. You can make as little as, I will just put a number, maybe as little as $200,000 or as much as $1 million. It all depends on how you want to bust your ass off to make money here.
What do you want to do? Like, what is it for you?
So for me, I would like a good balance where I'm making a decent income to take care of my family here and back home, and also have a good work-life balance where I'm able to go on vacation, just treat myself, to some goodies of this world.
Yeah. Wow. So I heard about doctors, right? First of all, is your wife a medical doctor as well?
No, she's not. She's an entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur. So I used to hear. So I'm asking a series of questions coming forward is the myth around the medical industry. So one of them is that you guys don't have time for family, and you've said that you want to, going forward, have that decent income, have time for family, and then treat yourself. So generally, I want you to just talk, right? Do you guys have how is the work-life balance for medical doctors in the US? Like, how is it generally?
Oh my, let's not get me started. I hope my wife is not going to hear this. So if my wife hears this, she's going to tell you, I'm married to medicine. I'm not married to OG, So they get to see me especially during my early years of training. You work long hours, 80 hours a shift. You have to do nights, and you barely home. And when you come home, you want to sleep, and then you're up again the next day. So this has been the journey. No, but again, you're going through the grind. You're trying to achieve something, but at that point, you're also missing out on one of the most important things of your life, which is your family. So that's why, with all these years that you've wasted and you cannot reclaim back, I think it's very important to actually focus on family when I'm done with my training, just so that I don't keep working, and the people that you're working for are not really seeing you. So I would like a balance where I'm not working as much because I still need to make money to take care of people, but I want to have special time dedicated to focus on family and the things that really matter in life.
So how is your wife taking it? Like, was she very annoyed the fact that you were not home at the beginning, and how is she taking it now?
Yes, she was at first because she just couldn't understand how somebody could be never at home, and when you're home, you want to sleep. Like I said, but she's very supportive. She understands that it's for the bigger picture, and she expressed her discontent a few times, but it's what it is. The sacrifice you have to make for to create a better future for your family. So. I give her credit, and I give every other doctor in America spouse credit, because it's them that hold the fort down at home while you are, busting your ass off to, achieve these degrees.
So for you, right? I'm asking because, like I said, there are myths. Yeah. So you guys work too much. You work a lot. You talked about like 80 hours a week, right?
Yeah,
So
or
since I,
more.
or more. Now I have done 80 hours a week. I work as a support worker. My focus is mental health, complex care,
Yeah.
right? And then recovery mental health. That's my core and my focus, right? So I have done 80 hours. I know how my body was. Sometimes I average 75 hours, right? And
Yeah.
all. But my question is, generally as medical doctors, do you feel like you guys give so much and then your health at the end of the day is impacted? Because I hear things like, oh, you work so hard and at the end of the day, maybe you develop one illness or the other, right? Are medical doctors also susceptible to that?
Yes, by all means. So, by the way, the 80 hours a week is actually on paper. In reality, you're doing 120 hours because there are certain times that you need to put in extra time. Let's say things are not working out. You're waiting for a
Okay.
lab result to come, waiting for an imaging result to
Mhm.
come out. You find yourself spending extra hours at work. So, having said that, your body suffers physically, mentally,
Mm.
because you come back home, you have little sleep, you wake up the next day, you continue all this. So you may think, as Black people, you may think that you're strong, but these things are gradually building up your system and setting you up for physical and mental failure.
Mm.
And that's why sometimes in residency programs, they actually dedicate a time for your mental health where you
Yeah.
get some hours to just, take care of your body because they know the effect this has on your body. So we do suffer all those things. Let me tell you, when I was in residency, there was a point in my life I thought I was being depressed because um, depression is not what we are used to coming
Mm.
from Nigeria.
Yeah.
But here, you're faced with all this reality. You're getting no sleep. You have all these bills to pay. You're not making a lot of money. So at
Mm.
that point, I actually felt I was going into depression.
Mm.
And I just had to start speaking up, saying the things that are weighing me down in my mind. So
Yeah.
as doctors, we do suffer all these things, but you have to find time to take care of your mental health and physical health because you're at work, you're eating bad food, you develop diabetes, your blood
Mm.
pressure goes up, you develop high cholesterol. So you really have to find time to take care of yourself mentally and physically.
Yeah. So you talked about lightning. You made mention of that, lightning black people about kidney disease, and for
Yes.
me as a layman, I don't drink, and I drink. I do a lot of water. I drink a lot of water, and from what you are saying, I'm also realizing that even if you leave all those, what's it called? You don't drink, for instance, you don't smoke.
The lifestyle. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going there. So your lifestyle will eventually now give you the key. So what? Just talk a little bit about the things that can actually bring the kidney failure, like the drinking. Just go a little bit in depth on
Yeah.
that before we talk
It,
about the lifestyle. Yeah.
it will interest you to know that alcohol and the rest of them are not the major causes of kidney failure.
Ah.
Yes. So the most important medical condition that predisposes people to kidney failure is diabetes mellitus.
Mm.
Yes. So the statistic shows that more than 80% of kidney failure is actually secondary to diabetes mellitus. So when you're educating people about kidney failure, you have to educate them on how to, the red flags, the triggers, what you need to check to make sure you don't have kidney failure. Now, especially in Black people, there is a gene that we inherit. It's called APOL1 gene. And
Mm-hmm.
this is common in Black people, people of African descent. As a matter of fact, where I trained in Calabar, there were a lot of people coming in with schistosomiasis, which is a disease caused by sleeping. It's called sleeping sickness. It's caused by an insect bite.
Yeah.
So if you have this gene mutation in your body, it predisposes you to kidney failure. This is
Hmm.
common among Black people. Now, I'm going to talk about diabetes mellitus, which is a major cause of kidney failure, hypertension, and other medical conditions,
Wow.
hepatitis.
Hmm.
So these are diseases that we suffer and we don't get medical checkups in Nigeria. I mean, I love my country, but unfortunately, people don't take healthcare seriously. The
True.
only time Nigerians go to the hospital is when they're almost dying.
Yeah.
So these things are really preventable. If people can take their health care seriously, check for diabetes, check for hypertension, screen for just regular screening, hepatitis and all that stuff, and you detect them on time, you can prevent an eventual renal failure.
Wow. This is very like eye opening. I used to think, hmm, wow. But of course, he's not saying that people should go ahead and be drinking. Now you know that
No,
drinking.
no, no, no. I'm not saying you should go and drink and binge. I drink a little bit of wine here and there. Now,
Yeah.
alcohol will cause you to have liver failure. It will cause you to have other problems, obesity, and the rest of them. But my point is that the major cause of kidney failure is diabetes mellitus, and every other alcohol eventually will cause kidney failure eventually. But it will cause more of liver failure than kidney failure. Yeah, that's why I really aim to actually open a foundation that will help to educate people and actually start screening people from, because kidney failure has no symptom. Like when you have heart failure, you
Mm-hmm.
have a symptom like chest pain, you have
Yeah.
liver failure, you have symptoms like yellowness of your eye and skin. Kidney failure will leave you without a symptom. By the
Wow.
time you start noticing that you have kidney failure, your kidney function may have been reduced so drastically that you may be dependent on dialysis.
Hmm.
So that's what I want to prevent amongst my people, brethren at home.
So food wise, what can we do? Was going like what can we do to prevent this? You talked about of course alcohol, stay away from it, which is not even then you talked about lifestyle. Now, but there's inherent thing. You talked about the gene mutation that we already have. So as blacks, what can we do to prevent this? What is the thing that's coming from you as a professional to prevent this?
So first of all, what I would recommend is, just ask around your family members, does anybody have kidney failure?
Mm,
That first will help you rule out familial or hereditary problems.
okay.
Secondly, you have to live right. Okay. When you get to an age, you have to do like basic health screening. Just simple blood tests will check what we call creatinine in your blood. It's a simple test, it's part of a chemistry profile that we do in the blood. If your creatinine is high, that means your kidney is not filtering waste products from your body. So basic lab screening once a year in an adult will help you know where your baseline is. And, if you detect that on time, then at least we can start to manage it on time. So lifestyle, number one. Number two, basic health screening. Number three, eat healthy. Eat healthy. Okay. When I say healthy, I know it's hard to define what healthy is, but a balanced diet is great. Okay. Just a little bit of this and that. Carbohydrate, fat, protein, just have them in the right proportion and eat small amounts at a time. There's no need to go binge yourself with food, which is very common in Nigeria. So lifestyle is important,
Mm,
health screening is important, eat healthy, exercise. Exercise doesn't mean that you're going to run a marathon every day. Just simple, power walking down your street, up and down, just nothing really crazy. That's what keeps blood circulation really intact, and blood flow to your vital organs intact. And those are little tips I can give.
mm,
But very important is health screening to check for that creatinine in your blood.
mm. Another thing is, doctor, right? Um, Coming to the UK, all right, changed a lot
Yeah.
for me, all right, because I come here and I realized how much being in Nigeria. Like you said, I am not saying that Nigeria. I love Nigeria. There are good things in that country, but
A lot of good things. A lot of
yeah,
good
but
things.
when you come to a place where systems and structures are working, you realize how the chaos in Nigeria has affected how you think, right? So
Absolutely.
going back to this health thing, yeah, I just want to admonish anyone listening, right? It's not a common thing in Nigeria that people go for checkups. right?
Right.
I wear glasses. So in 2014, when I started wearing the glasses, I never knew I had eye issue. All right, it got so bad I couldn't see very well because my astigmatism was high
Yeah.
under the sun. So
Mm-hmm.
I went to check. So you know the normal A, and then it keep diminishing to B, C, just trying
Yes.
to read it.
Yes.
So after reading, I realized I couldn't see some lines. I was like, no, it's not possible. I was arguing, but the facts are there. I checked one eye. I couldn't. I said, no, why? So the doctor told me, he said that I am glad that he is glad that I came to check it early, right?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
If I had gotten to a particular age, it would be too difficult for, like the degeneration in my eye would get so bad because of age that even if you are wearing glasses, it has caused a lot of harm because
Yes.
of the time I came. That
Yes.
I think I came out when I was 20 something, right?
Yes.
So I'm wearing my glasses for more than, let's say, 6, 7 years now. But I'm
Yeah.
happy because it has stopped the degeneration that could have happened over the last 7 years. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So
Yeah.
that is just an aspect to portray what I want to say. Doctor has said it, guys. This is what he loves. This is just what is an aspect of what he loves. We want to inspire other, doctors listening. And then, of course, generally, as blacks, young men, you're listening, go check yourself. It's not what we are used to, but just try. Even down to teeth, things like teeth decay, like you talk, if it detected on
Yes.
time, you know,
Yes.
if it detected on time, you want to say something, go ahead.
No, what I was going to say, I mean, it's just it's amazing how, the last time I was in Nigeria, I have all these rich friends back home, and everybody believes that, oh, God forbid I'm going to be
Yeah,
sick, but you're drinking 5 bottles of beer. God
yeah.
forbid I'm going to get kidney failure. I bet you have diabetes.
Mm,
Oh, God won't let that happen to me. No, God will help you if you help yourself. It won't
true,
cost you much. That extra money you're going to use to buy that extra bottle of beer, use it
mhm,
and just check your blood work for that. At least you have a baseline. The
true,
baseline will help you know, okay, this is where I stand. If something goes wrong from this point, at least I have a baseline to track from.
mm,
So that extra money you're spending, just keep it and go get a blood test.
true, true. Wow, thank you. Man, I hope we did justice to what you have in your heart. But before I let you go, I want you to just pour out your heart, like last words to people listening, and then you might target it to medical doctors as well. Have a couple of them listen. So what you have to say.
Yeah, what I have to say is that never give up on your dream. It's
Mm,
only a dead man that has given up.
yeah.
Your life challenges may be thrown at you. Things may not go the way you have planned them to go, but what do? You pick yourself up and then you keep going. There's so
Mhm.
many things that we can achieve if we do this together. Like young man, you're doing an amazing job. When I saw your profile on Instagram, like, oh wow, this guy is somebody I need to know. Okay,
Thank you.
what
Thank
you're
you.
doing, bringing to light this information,
Mm,
this knowledge to people is priceless.
thank
You may never know it now, but trust me, you're doing the best you can given
Yeah.
the situation. So I'm really proud and I'm glad I made your acquaintance. There's so many things we can talk about. We can keep talking to you tomorrow,
Yeah.
but
Mm.
I really appreciate this time and I have enjoyed this conversation with you.
Yeah, of course. You talked about making movies. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, so this is one of my passions. When I
Yeah.
was much younger, I used to imagine myself, making movies, not as an actor, but just
Yeah.
creating movies. So,
Hmm.
um, just 2 years ago, I started to, take on that passion of mine and start creating my movies. So I'm
Mm.
actually working on my first movie right now. We are in the pre-production phase, and very soon you're going to see my movie on Netflix
Woo,
or
woo,
Amazon
woo,
Prime,
woo.
whatever. So
I can't wait. I
never
can't
give up
wait.
on your dream. Yeah, never give up on your dream, no matter how
Yeah.
old you are.
Wow. Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know you've heard it from Doctor himself. So, Doctor, how can we reach you? Socials, emails. How can we get to you?
Yeah, I am on social media. I just recently joined Instagram. I call myself the eclectic dog. Eclecticism just means, just a little bit of everything. I love art, I love science, I love nature. So I call myself the eclectic dog. I'm on Instagram. I think that's the only social media presence I have. And of course, if anybody has any questions, my email is emeogbugo at yahoo.com. You can ask me any question. If you feel you need to speak to me on the phone, then we can connect through that route as well.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Dr. OG. Thank you for this acquaintance, like you said, and I know he showed me when I get to the US, I must come pay you a visit. I must come to
Please,
your
of course. We'll make sure you have a fence salad when you get here.
Oh my God, thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of this, and of course, every Friday we bring you another good tiding. And I know you enjoyed today's episode. And till next time, keep being inspired with the young man. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Wow, thank you so much, guys, for being with me till the end of this particular episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. See you next Friday. Keep being inspired. Bye.
The young man with dreams.